Hello everyone, welcome back to RCH Builders. So we are finishing up room by room, and I'm going to try and just get a shot of each room as we finish it. A lot of this stuff here was some stuff that was stored previously in this room. We had moved it downstairs, and now we're trying to move it back up here slowly and get it out of the way from down there. And also the table, which used to be sitting actually right here for the longest time of the video. We had taken it apart to take it downstairs, and Tyler's about to put it back together. But this room in here, all we did in here technically was we used it for a storage room for our stuff and the bigger items that were left here, like that table, the washer, dryer. So it's basically just used for storage. So really all we did in here is we cleaned it up real good, and we refinished the floors. So the floors got refinished all the way through, which is actually the only reason why we had to do anything in this room as well, because the homeowner, he decided he wanted to go ahead and do it everywhere, just so it all looked the same, and didn't have to worry about, even when you open a door, this being a darker color than that out there. So they did a refinish all the way through. So again, this room in here, all we did in here was we just cleaned it up, and that's it. The hallway, and we stained the floors. The hallway here, we stained the floors, of course. I repainted this grate here because it was pretty flaky, so I just spray painted that black. I also painted the walls and the trim because they had gotten dinged up and stuff, trying to get material through this door into that door for storage purposes and all that. Kind of expected it. The ceiling was fine, as far as the fact that nothing that we did had affected the ceiling. Could be repainted, but they didn't want to pay for that, which is fine. This room in here, y'all should have seen already in the video where I showed that room being completely finished and done. So not really going to go in there, but yeah, in this room, there was 2 double windows. You should, if you look back on the original videos, you'd see there was 2 double windows there that have been taken out, and now it's just a solid wall. And then this wall over here, from about this corner to probably somewhere around here, was an opening that was sunk in that direction towards the kitchen, with a like a standard door about the same size as this going in towards the kitchen. So that was removed and closed off to create pantry space on the other side. Bathroom, we didn't do anything in here except for just have to clean it up real good from all the dust, dirt, and grime. So that's clean. All these rooms that I'm showing are finished. This in here, again, the table and chairs brought up from downstairs. Tyler's putting that together. What we did in here, of course, refinished the floors. Refinished the floors was done in all rooms, so I'm not really going to keep saying that part, but we added this, I guess you could call it a serving bar, basically. You can put your food on there when you have guests or whatever. You can put your pots, your serving dishes over there for people to get and then sit down at the table, or whatever is needed. Little wine fridge there, and then cabinets up top with scored line for the crown. And then of course the other big thing was creating this opening across here, which is, I think it is really close to 12 feet now. I think it's 11 foot something, but it used to be just basically about that same size as that opening over there. So just opened it up through here. There is a little bit of difference in color, of course. Here, that's where that is new hardwood versus old. The new is never going to have the same patina as the old. No matter how well you stain it, you can always tell a little bit of a difference. Eventually they may weather out and look better closer together, but it's not really that, they are still fairly close, and that's why we did go ahead and do a transition strip across here, basically to separate the old from the new. Just helps make that tie-in look better. So that's what we've done in here. In the kitchen, of course, we've got the pantry set up over here that we did. That's where there used to be an opening in that entire space. There was a wall with a door going into that bedroom back there. So we did that. We raised the ceilings back up to the original height because the ceilings were dropped down. Actually, I think it was almost a foot, maybe a little more than a foot. I can't remember exactly. I'd have to look back at the video, but they were dropped down pretty well. Complete new configuration of the kitchen. Maybe I'll throw in a picture of what it used to be like. Still have the original windows and trim with those. And then an island, which the island matches these cupboards here in the dining room, kind of as a centerpiece to create a little bit of contrast. But then all the rest of the cabinets are white. They went with white countertop with a little bit of, of course, stone doesn't come 100% one color unless you want to pay a lot of money for it. But this just helps add contrast and character. So still the original refrigerator that was in here, cabinet above it, and basically just from where this old house has the ceilings go up and down. All of this crown is just a 1x that has been basically traced with a pencil to match up with the ceiling. So that's where it's not just a shadow line. It is actually taller over here, smaller in the middle, and then goes back a little bit bigger on that side. That's the way the ceiling in this house is. If you jack it up, you're going to mess up the roof. You're going to mess up a whole bunch of other stuff that you then have to do. Can be done, but it gets a lot more costly than what they were already paying for. And it's not that big a deal. It's one of those things where it probably settled in the first 5 years, maybe 5 to 10 years of the house being here, and it's been there ever since. Not a big deal structurally or nothing. It just visually, you can see it. Just a lot of times people won't even notice, especially if you use the right stuff. If you use a piece of actual regular crown there, it'd be much more noticeable, but using a 1x helps hide that. So 2 pendants over the island here, and we've got, of course, all the cabinets, stoves in and working, outlets are all in and working, sink is in operating. We've got hot water hooked up, the water heater's downstairs, and then we did the backsplash tile. And the way I did this, all of this tile, I didn't start with a full one over here. I didn't want to do that. And I didn't start with a full one in the corner either. And I also did not wrap it around the corner. Sometimes I will just wrap it, but in this case, because of the way that this house is, I wanted to do it a little differently. The center point that most people are going to see, because it's the most tile, the length all the way up, I centered, and I'm not sure, let me, there we go. Okay, let's see, let's just move in a little bit now. But what I did is I centered the center line up, centered in the opening for the stove. And then I went both directions, both this way and that way from there. And then as far as this wall, the center point that I went with, because it is, again, the largest area of this, sorry, my hand, but it's the largest area of this entire wall. So what I did is I centered it based off the window. So you can see that center line is in line with the center of the windows, and then from there it goes both directions. It still came pretty, pretty close. It is a little off as far as from side to side, but it is not noticeable, in my opinion, anywhere near as much as it would be if this didn't line up or this did not line up. And with doing this, it ended up here at the sink. This center line is about, it's really only about 3/4 of an inch off from center of the faucet, but that is not really noticeable, especially because the faucet's there. It kind of helps hide it, and it's such a small space, both this way and this way, that I think it hides, and a lot of times you're more looking at an angle anyway, so you might think it's just that. But I thought this was going to be the most visible, so that's what we went with there. So trim's all in, painted in all these rooms. We'll come back later to go through the addition, but this is the original house area, and it is actually completely finished. The original part of the house is done. We're going to probably start coming in through the basement in the next day or two instead of coming through this door, just because I spent a lot of time cleaning up here. Tyler spent a lot of time Saturday cleaning up the bathroom. So I just, now that we've got it done and we've got it clean, and the last thing that we had to do was the tile in this area, and when that's done, I kind of am wanting to pretty much, once we get the stuff from downstairs up here out of the way down there, I kind of want to just consider this doorway and everything on this side of it to be off limits. And then we can just focus on coming through the downstairs, or even through the deck out here to get in and out and do what we need to do. There's not a lot left to do up here, so it shouldn't be a big deal. We do have the stairs there. Don't want too many people using them, but we use them and be careful because there's no handrails yet, but the stairs are there. So, all right. Hope y'all enjoyed watching, and we'll see you the next time.